What's going on, everybody? Matt Malatesta here in the Coach's Corner. We're heading to St. Pius X with none other than Shaun Stephens. Coach, tough one against St. Thomas. What did you take away from that game that you can, go into this week feeling good about?
Oh, man, we got into a heavy package, brought over some of the linebackers, and let those guys come knock the crap out of some people. And that really helped out our run game. So going into this week, that's going to be something that's really going to help us out a lot. Yeah.
You've got Concordia Lutheran this week. They had another big win. They're undefeated, and they're our number one team in the city of Houston as it relates to private schools. Just
Yeah.
what are keys to this upcoming game, you think? Or what do they do well?
Man, they have a really good quarterback, right? Tanner, very accurate, little bit mobile. But they run the ball a lot. They get under center, run the football, and then do a lot of little play action off of that. Defensively, man, they blitz a lot, a lot. Like I was looking at one game, it was like 57 plays of defense, 47 blitzes. Like they blitz a lot. Yeah, like every play, every other play they're blitzing. So making sure we can block up all the blitzes. But when they're doing all the blitzes, they're more cover zero, no help. So just finding your matchups, it's going to come down to who got the better players in those situations. And then on the defensive side, we just got to be physical because they are going to come line up, get under center, line up in some unbalanced formations and run the football.
Talk about, after this week's game against St. Thomas, Saturday weekends could be rough, right? So they're kind of getting back in the swing of things. How do you get the guys back refocused after a tough loss?
Well, that's kind of more of it's not a day of thing, right? So you can't say we had a tough loss, man, let's figure out how to motivate them. That's more of a day one, beginning of summer camp, beginning of spring ball thing. And it's basically comes off of your foundation and what you've been preaching to the kids every single day. So my DC Coach Speed and the OC Coach Hims and Coach Moreno and Coach Marco and Coach Smith, Coach K, Coach Cross, all my coaches have done a really good job of building genuine relationships with the kids, right? So if you're able to build relationships with them, they know that you believe in them, you trust them, and so they're going to have your backs, right? They're going to have all the coaches' backs, right? The next thing is we've held the kids accountable. Like whether we were winning, losing, held them accountable. Whether it's in the summertime, spring ball, we've held them accountable. So they understand that no one's above the team. Right, everyone's going to get held accountable. There's consequences if you mess up. So it's not like all of a sudden we have a bad game or something like that. You want to hold someone accountable. The next thing will be the coaches have done a really good job of modeling hard work and dedication. Like I got some coaches that they show up with their kids, right? I'm talking about kids of different ages, like babies all the way up to 12 years old, right? And they come every day with these kids every day, and that just shows how much they want to be there to support the football players, right? If I'm looking over and I got a coach with a baby in a stroller that's come up to practice to come coach up these players, like I heard a couple of kids say, hey, like coach is bringing this kid up here every day, like he must really care about us. So coming off of that, the next thing will be having true hard conversations with the kids. Like we do this a lot. Like I have conversations with parents, playing time, also like. And we have a group of coaches that are not afraid of having hard conversations. Like we'll have kids say, well, I feel like I should be starting. We're going to hear you out. Why do you feel like you should be starting? Okay, all right, sounds good. But the reason why you're not starting is because maybe you don't work hard. You could be the best athlete, but if you don't work hard, you ain't going to start, right? Maybe you're not coachable yet. Maybe you got discipline issues. And so being able to kind of piggyback off each one of these things help the kids to stay motivated because they know that like the coaches still have their backs no matter what. They're going to hold them accountable. They're going to still love on them after a loss. Because like you're saying Saturday, dude, when we left that game, you wonder like what is the next day going to look like? And we had more kids show up the following day than most of the other Saturdays, and so those kids were they took that personal, and they want to continue to get better. So.
What it's cool, you can obviously see that you're building, like, it's a family, it's a community, you're all bought in. And it's hard. You're all there for each other in the good times when you're getting wins, and then losses, it really speaks volumes of what you're saying. Like, you have a better attendance almost when you'll have that tough loss and everybody's being held accountable, which is, it's just a culture. You're building the right culture there. If you had to think about the game, give me your offensive player of the day and your defensive player of the day.
Whew, man, we had a tough day on offense. I don't know if you're an offensive player of the game. Shit, I'm gonna take some of those linebackers that came over and helped us out. Freaking Marcos and Sam and all those guys that came over. They just, man, it's different playing offense versus defense, right? And we can say it and not say it, but defensive players, they hit every day. They don't get the ball. So they're a little bit more tougher, right? A little bit more selfless. Offense is a finesse and cute, and they get to touch the ball all the time. And sometimes you go have some prima donnas and things like that. But those guys that came over, they came over to block. They came over to get the ball. And so for them to do that, definitely a big shout out to them for doing that. That supported us a lot. Defensively, I mean, they're the same guys on defense. The linebacker core, you got Meekins, you got Sam, you got Marcos. Those three guys have been, lighting it up the last couple of games. And so those guys will probably be our overall MVPs because they played a little offense, a little defense, and supported us both sides of the ball. So,
all right. Well, hey, go get them this week. Concordia Lutheran is on deck. They are tough as well. Coach Willie Amendola does a really good job with them. But, hey, you got the culture in place. Now it's about X's and O's and shutting some of these teams down. We will be out there. Everybody, get out to this game. It is going to be a big one. This is Matt with VYPE. Coach Shaun Stephens of St. Pius X, the Coach's Corner. We'll see y'all at the games.